Today I'm here with Kaylee, one of my friends. She has some experience with teen pregnancy. Tell us a little bit about your experience, Kaylee.
Well, I am a teen mom. I got pregnant at 16, had my daughter at 16, so, yeah.
What would you say is the reason or the circumstances that led to your pregnancy?
Stupidity.
Stupidity.
To be honest.
Clarify that a little bit more.
Just precautions were not taken, and because under the impression it wouldn't happen to me, it would happen to those kind of girls. So girls who attended church and was part of the youth group, I thought that this kind of stuff doesn't happen to you.
When you found out you were pregnant, what was your family's reaction?
My mom was shocked, not very happy about it either, so that was pretty much the reaction. Just not happy at first, and then after the initial shock there, my parents kind of warmed up to the idea of becoming grandparents.
Did they have any influence or bearing on your decision making at all?
Not much.
No, okay. When you found out you're pregnant, what was your reaction? What were your thoughts?
I was also shocked. As I said, I didn't believe it could happen to someone like me. I thought it would only happen to those kind of girls or whatever. So that was it was a shock. It was it was just shocking.
What were some of your thoughts?
My main thought was, this is crazy, like this isn't real. It didn't hit me until an ultrasound where I'm like, oh, okay, there's actually a baby there, that my thought process started to change.
Was there any anger or fear or joy?
At first I was kind of scared, and then near the end I was scared as well. But after the initial shock, there was some joy. It was an excitement, kind of.
You had no anger at the situation?
No.
Or how did people in your school treat you when they found out you were pregnant?
People in my school were surprisingly really good about it. I went to a school with a high pregnancy rate as is, so it was accepted. I didn't get called names or whatever. For the most part, people were really, really kind about it.
Did the high pregnancy rate at your school affect your decisions at all, or?
Not really.
No. Okay. And so they had good counseling programs and stuff in place?
Kind of. The school itself didn't have many programs, but they were able to connect me to community resources that would have been helpful.
Point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
What were the options that were given to you by clergy, guidance counselors, and hospitals when you found out you were pregnant?
The main three, the abortion, adoption, or parenting, were brought up a few times. They weren't really my youth leaders and things didn't really have much to say. Mainly just we'll pray with you through this, and so they didn't really play much of an impact. I was volunteering at the time, so the place that I volunteered was really how can we help you through this? How can we pray through this? Let's help you make the best choice. So.
Did you feel that you were pushed in one direction or another by different groups? Did your guidance counselors kind of push you towards abortion or even saving the life or anything like that? Was there anybody pushing you in different directions, different groups?
My church, my church youth group, and they were, abortion wasn't even a thought. They just thought, well, you'll keep it, of course. So the thought of abortion wasn't really brought up. But adoption was brought up a few times by some of my Christian friends, or I have older friends who kind of accountability partners or mentors and such who had said a few times this might be an option to consider.
That's adoption, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's nobody pushing you towards abortion or anything?
No.
Wow. Okay. What choice did you end up making, and why?
Well, I chose to parent her, and I parented her for the first 18 months, and then I decided to place her up for adoption.
Why did you make the choice to parent her at first?
It was partially just living in my mom's house. That was kind of something that we had talked about, and she had said that she'd support me and my daughter, that she would help me finish high school and things like that. And then when I moved out, I realized it was too difficult and I wasn't giving her what she needed and the life that I would have wanted for her. So that's when I made that decision.
So you alone made the decision to put her up for adoption,
yeah.
or were you pressured to?
I made that decision alone.
Okay. What was the most challenging thing about the entire experience?
I'd say that the most challenging from like the whole perspective was the whole like teachers not really giving me the support that I needed. I had a few teachers who said there's no real reason for you to continue. You just go to alternate ed, which is like a program that they had at my school, 14 Moms, where you get 20 booklets and that's an equivalent of a course. And I wanted to stay in class and do the same assignments as everyone else in my year.
And you did succeed doing that, so you graduated with your year?
Yeah.
And that was extremely challenging, or is it fairly, was it as hard as they said it would be?
It was really difficult. I did have a large support base helping me through things. I moved in with a friend to finish off my last semester who took Chloe while I did school. The hardest part was not sleeping and then still being up for 8 a.m. Because that sucked.
What helped you through this adventure? What are some of the things that helped you get through some of the challenges that you mentioned earlier?
Mainly my friends. They played a huge impact in just helping me through things. And I had, I wouldn't say really say youth leaders, because they aren't really my youth leaders. They're like my friends and stuff. But they would give me advice and they would pray with me, and that was a huge help in that.
And your friends, what were like some other kind of things that they helped you with? You said they prayed with you and they helped you, but was there some like practical ways that they cooked meals for you? Or?
Because I was living with friends, they helped me they taught me how to cook, because I hadn't learned at my mom's house, and just things how to like balance working part-time and caring for Chloe while I attended school, and just like that kind of practical stuff. They taught me other things that I hadn't learned, that as a 17, 16-year-old teen mom probably should have learned already, which was really helpful.
Is there anything we as youth workers should know when dealing with issues related to teen pregnancy? Is there any kind of things that you'd kind of tell us and say, hey, the youth workers that I was involved with didn't do this or didn't do that, or here's the things you need to do as a Christian youth worker or even a youth worker in general? Is there any kind of advice you could give us, 2 or 3 main things that you'd give us as to help out with that?
The biggest thing that kind of like, it didn't really affect me as much, but I know it has affected my friends who have been in similar situations. They have, their church or their youth leaders have said things and dwelling more on that their child is a result of them sleeping around or whatever, and that is why they're they're going through a hardship. Not really focusing, yes, that is the case, and yes, they have messed up, and yes, that is there as well, but also the aspect of this is a child and the best decision needs to be made, and that support is needed, and they don't need teen moms don't need another person who's saying you're not going to amount to something, you're not going to do this. Let's celebrate the good things about the situation and make better choices from here on out.
So you'd say more encouragement? More encouragement. Did you feel that people were kind of judgmental towards you at all?
I had been, when I was church, looking for a church, I had a few people who weren't as kind, a woman called me a sinner one day, which definitely made me not ever want to go back to that church, but yeah, and being careful with like our students and stuff too. They might have friends or whatever who are in that situation in their high schools or their work or whatever, and it's just teaching them and be encouragement to them, and not another voice saying you're doing wrong, this is a result of you being wrong.
And would you say that this experience has helped you to be better in your life here at Bible College or at other schools and stuff? In any adventures that you've kind of gone on? Has it like matured you, or this whole experience made you aware of some of the difficulties in the church or anything like that?
It definitely opened my eyes to things. I don't think I would have gone to college if Chloe hadn't been here. It was my friends that I was living with who encouraged me to go to school in the first place. So, and then being here for a youth ministry, that's something that I've noticed, and just this whole situation is kind of, and with youth leaders and stuff, to really know how to handle these kind of situations. And it's definitely helped me to mature in a way that I had to deal with a lot more than most 16-year-olds have to, and which is partially my doing. But it's definitely helped me to make better decisions and think of just another side of things that I wouldn't have thought about.
Great. Thanks so much, Kaylee. I really appreciate your time.
Amen.